Welcome back to Open Window Politics. Today we're going to be doing a prediction between the current governor of Kentucky on the Democratic side, that being Governor Andy Beshear, versus on the Republican side, J.D. Vance, the current vice president, and at the moment most likely contender for the 2028 Republican nomination for the presidential election. So we'll be going through an election situation between these two candidates. As you can see here, the map has changed slightly from what I normally start out with for an electoral college prediction. We have the states of Iowa, Ohio, and Texas also getting moved from likely to lean. I think that this is a real possibility. Andy Beshear is a Democrat from Kentucky, which, as you can see, there is a deep red state, and it is a very impressive feat that he's been able to win as a Democrat in a state that is safe red. And I think that if he can do that, he can significantly narrow up some other races that are a little more competitive than, like Texas is certainly more competitive than Kentucky, so I think that it would narrow up along with Iowa and Ohio. So that's going to be the case for those three states. And now we'll be going through, I'll add a tilt rating, go through the lean, well, we've already done a few of the lean states for the Republicans. There's going to be one more for the Democrats, and that being the state of Nevada. This state swung to the right and voted for Trump in 2024. However, I think the state will be one of the easier ones for Democrats to win back. This state has generally been in the Democratic Party's column. It was a bit of a shock when the state went red in 2024. The state does have a Republican governor, and I think that his race will be an interesting race to watch this November. I'm not sure how that race will go, but I do think if the presidential election were to be held today and these two people were the candidates, that the state would go to Beshear, most likely in lean margin. Then we're going to get to the state of Arizona. Going to put that in the tilt blue rating. I think the state would be narrower than Nevada, but still in the Democrats category. And then we're going to head on over to the other half of the Sun Belt. Going to put Georgia. I'm going to do a split prediction with Georgia going into Andy Beshear's column and North Carolina going into J.D. Vance's column. North Carolina is probably the state I feel the most hesitant to call either way. I think it will be really close, and I can honestly see a real possibility where Andy Beshear is able to win this state. It's going to be close, I would call it, but for now I'm going to put it in J.D. Vance's column. Ultimately, it won't really matter too much, as you guys will see later, but we'll go with Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. Going to put those three in the Democratic Party's category. I feel the most confident in putting Wisconsin in Beshear's column. This state saw some very impressive election results for Democrats in the recent Supreme Court race that occurred in the state. That really was a very impressive election turnout for Democrats. The state swung 20 points to the left, roughly from how it voted in 2020, or in 2024, sorry. But that is going to be the state of Wisconsin. And then I think if one of them goes blue, that all three will. Generally, these three states vote together, so nothing too out of the usual there. So that is going to leave us with 303 electoral college votes for Governor Andy Beshear to 235 for the Republican J.D. Vance. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.